Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to round 10 and races 28, 29, and 30 of this year's Virtual Motorsport Online TCUK Championship. It's finals day for TCUK in 2025. We return to Brands Hatch, but this time we return to its 2.4-mile Grand Prix layout. Fast, flowing, full of undulation, this circuit has provided a test for real and virtual driver alike since the 1960s. This wonderful ribbon of Kent tarmac has been a staple of local, global, virtual racing and has been the home of many title-deciding races. TCUK returns to settle this year's championship. 8 points separate our two contenders for the Drivers' Championship, O'Leary and Hurlock, but there's close battles up and down the field with decisions and championships to be made for both our teams, independents and the Purple Sector Award. There's plenty still to race for. Who will win the Grand Prix tonight? My name is Matthew Chergwin. I'm here on my own this evening. My partner in crime, Phil, is off on a holiday. Phil, if you're watching, I hope you're having a lovely time away. So you've got me for the next 2 or so hours to call the action here tonight. Brands Hatch GP, the traditional home for in certainly recent times, the British Touring Car Championship rounding out, same goes for TCUK, and this Brands Hatch GP circuit. It adds an extra 1.4 or so miles to the Brands Hatch Indy layout that we raced earlier in the year, but it completely changes the complexion of the lap, how you have to set up the car, and we'll have to see how our drivers do this evening. It's cold. The UK has woken up and decided to have winter. So we're going to see, I think, some pretty varied conditions out there. Who knows, maybe even a little bit of weather, some rain occurring. We'll have to wait and see. So plenty to be thrown up in the mix for our drivers to contend with. It's been an incredible 10 rounds. We've got a lot to reflect on, a lot to talk about. And as mentioned, some championships to decide. We've had, I think, the real privilege and pleasure to mirror the real world touring car schedule. Well, we're now going to round that out with our visit here to Brands Hatch GP. So we've already got our first, I think, championship rounded out. We'll talk to that in just a moment. But just to mention, if you're interested in some touring car racing and perhaps finding out a bit more about Virtual Motorsport Online, feel free to give us a search on your search engine of choice. Find our Discord server, and you too could find yourselves here on the grid for next TCUK next year potentially, but also perhaps some of our other series. We've just announced our World Series Rallying Championship is coming back for the winter. A wonderful rallying championship on Richardsburn Rally with a lovely set of rallies to contend with there. So a little bit of everything out there. And as we'll talk to in our spotters guide, we've got a few new joiners, a few new faces, a new team joining us this evening. So we'll just quickly introduce those folks. Lovely to have you along with us. And just to call out the new team, Spinardi. Love the name, love the livery. Beautiful, beautiful livery and team name. So we've got Robin and Daniel Scott joining us. So lovely to have you along, folks. We also have another new joiner. I'm now just very quickly trying to scan the spotter's guide to spot him. But it's lovely to see new folks coming along and joining as obviously the championship is starting to wrap up. Great practice, great preparation for next season, as always, of course. So yes, lovely to have folks come along and join the VMO grid and the fun. And you'll definitely find some good fun, fair, fast racing to be had. So yes, just to call out everyone who's joined, Cameron Moss as well in the Vextro Developments number 17 car, and welcome as well to Ashley Gregory from Brabham in the number 34. Good number 34. That's my racing number. So I hope it treats you well, Ashley. So a lovely full stacked grid of runners and riders for us to commentate and watch this evening. 28 drivers, which is wonderful to see at this stage of the championship. And as always throughout this championship, a little bit of strategy and a few things to keep an eye out for in our 3 races this evening. First of all, tyres. Across the championship, our drivers have been electing which races to use the option or prime tyre. Here at Brands Hatch, it's the soft tyre, so in theory a little bit quicker, but wearing a little more quickly as a result. And of course, we're at the end of the championship, so our drivers will have elected to use their option tyres and will be almost forced at this stage to pick that tyre in a particular race. We've got an interesting distribution of tyres across the 3 races, pretty even, with a lot of drivers actually just perhaps reserving it a little bit for the third race. We've seen several races won in the last race of the championship with that option tyre, so I think a few folks trying to gamble for that opportunity as well. And last but not least, of course, the final strategic element of our format here is HEMS, our boost system, mapping and emulating the real-world hybrid boost system seen in the British Touring Car Championship. Gives our drivers an extra boost of power to help perhaps defend that position, make that overtake happen, and it varies as depending on your starting position in a race or your championship position in the first race. So drivers at the sharp end will not have as much of that boost to work with during the race. Drivers perhaps a little bit further down will have a lot more to work with. So lots of strategic elements, lots of things to work with throughout our races this evening. And as mentioned, this Brands GP circuit is one of my favorites. And it's tricky. It's a real challenge to get the car set up properly, and that boost I think really will be a factor out of some of the slower speed corners, helping you slingshot past someone on some of the long straights that this circuit has. So with introductions done, drivers just in warm-up, hopefully we'll be able to go through our qualifying order and introduce, I think, our first champion of the year. So a huge congratulations to Jordan Richardson, who has won our Purple Sector Championship. Now, this is a competition for drivers who and their qualifying starting positions. Provisional points, of course, and if you can believe it, decided by 1 point. Richardson from Callum Wilson. So an incredibly close run thing there. But congratulations to Jordan Richardson. It was 6 points coming into this round, decided by just a single point. So proof that you should never give up. And with Wilson, I believe, qualifying on pole for the first race this evening, he could do no more. So near and so far, but first championship wrapped up. Congratulations, Jordan, doing a excellent job across the season, nice and consistent. So huge congratulations to you. With that, just here, we'll have our full grid coming up, so we'll just get that up and running here. And this is our starting order. So Callum Wilson on pole position, followed by Dan Kell for Calamity, Jordan Richardson in third, doing just enough there to seal the purple sector, followed by Tom Stevens. Thomas O'Leary, championship protagonist, starts in fifth, with Ryan Elliott starting just behind him in sixth. Zach Evans for Vapor Shield, great qualifying for him, starting seventh, followed by Fraser Hart. Joseph Herlock starting in ninth place, followed by Callum Cripps for Brabham. They'll be followed by Luke Mitchell and Cedo Wire. 13th position will be Emil Salberg for Kings, followed by his Kings teammate Scott Mitchell-Marm. Chris Butcher and Louis Neal, independent protagonist, starting in 16th place. Daniel Herlock, our other championship protagonist, struggling a little bit this evening, starting in 17th, with Simon Trebek from Unlimited Motorsports in his Cupra, starting 18th. Jack London in 19th, with Martha Allington, our other independent protagonist, in 20th. Jordan Osborne in 21st, with Ashley Gregory, new joiner, in 22nd. Robin Molling for Spinardi in 23rd, with Daniel Scott in 24th. Cameron Moss starts 25th this evening, with Mitch Marie following him in 26th. Ben Willis for Drake starts 27th, with Alan Smith, our last runner and rider, starting in 28th place. So that is our starting order for the first race of the evening. I believe we've got our drivers just about to take their grid positions for the first race this evening, round 28. And we'll try best as we can to cover all of the various championships as the evening pans out. So drivers making their way to grid, just coming onto the Grand Prix loop here, going off into the woods. And we've got Callum Wilson leading the way, just preparing his BMW, giving a little bit of lateral load into the tyres, just getting a bit of a feel for his BMW down this dip into the very fast right-hander here in the loop, Hawthorne Bend. This is going to be, I think, a key spot. If you can start to unsettle and spook drivers, you're then on the back foot for this whole fast-flowing third sector here. So drivers making their way down this dip into Hawthorne's Bend. Everyone just making their way, preparing themselves for the 28th race of the championship. 90% there, just 3 more races to go. It's been a real roller coaster, and Dan Hurlock has some work to do here from 17th place. He's got a margin of 8 or so points to try and catch up O'Leary, his rival. O'Leary, though, of course, has done a lovely job starting in 5th place. That's certainly a strong place to start the evening. As we've mentioned so many times so far this season, the first race critical to build a good evening, a good set of races. O'Leary certainly setting his stall out properly, nice and early. So as our drivers come around Clark Curve for the final time, just preparing themselves, get themselves settled. Keep an eye, folks, on that that camber, of course, which often unsettles the car on the start. We've got Dan Hurlock in picture for you. We're focusing here at the moment on O'Leary in 5th place. So we just wait for everyone to take their grid positions, and we will get going for race 1 of the evening. So engine notes rise, lights come on. And we are racing. Looks like a pretty good start there from O'Leary. Everyone making their way down towards Paddock Hill Bend for the first time. Wilson holding strong on the inside off the line. Dan Kell challenging around the outside, using that momentum. Looks like Kell's gone a little bit. Oh no, Kell's gone well to the inside. Oh heavens. The Calamity focus off onto the grass, and well done there to Wilson for spotting and keeping his car well and truly alive. That could have been a huge Skittles moment. Really unfortunate for our leading two. Richardson finds himself in the lead, and what's that, an RSR getting loose on the exit of Graham Hill? Yes, it was. Ryan Elliott. Oh, and there's a big wreck on the exit of Graham Hill Bend there. Everyone just a little bit unsighted as cars arrive and exit, trying to make every possible piece of ground there. So a real mess of cars. We've got Allington off in the back here. I think we've got one of the Vapor Shield cars there. One of the Spinardis. Oh, that's a real shame. That's a real shame. We'll have to see if we can get a replay of that. But through it all, we're not having our third race first, are we, tonight, folks? We'll see. But Jordan Richardson finds himself in the lead. He's on the soft tyre, that faster compound, and he's now got a clear road ahead. So just view to try and hit his marks. Jordan Richardson will having a dream start here. Got Tom Stevens and Thomas O'Leary, 2 BMWs. Ideal for O'Leary as well, of course, in the championship fight. But through this as well, Hurlock made up 8 places already, and looking to try and cut underneath the Brabham of Cedo Wire there on the exit of Clark Curve. My goodness, what a start to this race. Unfortunately, already a couple of retirements, one of them notable in our independence fight. Very bold, brave move there on the brakes from Hurlock in his RSR. He's made another place. He's now ahead of Cedo Wire. He's up to 8th place. So an explosive start to the race. Not what we would ideally like to see. Cars pinballing themselves on the exit of Graham Hill Bend, but it's such a critical corner. Carry the momentum, carry the speed into what is a very tricky Surtees Bend. So replay coming up. Let's see what we can see. So on exit, Ryan Elliott fighting there with the Brabham Civic up into Graham Hill Bend, and oh, I think he's carried so much speed. He's been caught out a little bit by the Civic there, and it's all a little bit just pinball wizard. Everyone's caught up by the checkup, and oh dear. Yeah, a few cars off to the left, few cars off to the right, and there's everyone else stuck in the middle. So that is really unlucky. One of those things, I think, a little bit of a checkup, a little bit of a chain reaction, and boom, we've got a major blockage taking out a few cars. That's a real pity, but we do have a couple more races, so there's still time to make up some places and get some racing in. So lap 1, a bit drama, full of contact there. I'm sure the body shop folks will be happy with some of the work they've got to do. But anyway, Louis Neal, 13th place, independent protagonist with a nice healthy margin coming into this evening. His main rival, Martha, unfortunately, she is out of this one. So Louis, if he keeps his head down, scores some points, that will do him very nicely in the championship. Really attacking there, Paddock Hill Bend this time around. A little bit of a wiggle out of his BMW, and brave on the brakes. Closing up to the back of Jack London in his Ford Focus. Of course, we've got a drivetrain difference here, folks. We've got front-wheel drive Ford Focus, rear-wheel drive BMW. I would favour the BMW here, carrying a bit more speed through some of these longer apexes. Hard on the brakes into Surtees, really late uphill left-hander, always super tricky to get that one right. Looks like these three have done it quite well. We've got a little bit of a train here. We have both Neil London bearing on the back of Chris Butcher in his Loadout Racing Ford Focus. Through Hawthorns they go. Really tricky little apex there just to get right. You don't want to run too wide onto the grass. That then unsettles you into Westfield, but they've taken that nicely through Dingle Dell. And then over the rise at Sheens, really, I find that a really, really tricky corner. Always carry too much speed onto the grass, and then you have a very bad time. So lovely bit of, well navigated by these through, and the leading pack ahead of them, not too far away, actually. So while it's all very tempting to perhaps try and make some moves, try and gain some places, the likes of Salberg, Wire, Herlock, not too far up the road. So another lap in the books, lap 4 of 15 already. We're flying through the race. We're already a third through. Ryan Elliott looking to recover here. He's caught up to the back of Fraser Hart in his BMW. Not an ideal start there, obviously, for Ryan, getting a little bit caught up in some of the melee there right at the start of the race, but look to be recovering in that RSR car. To mention championship situation, we do have a bit of a scrap going on for the team's championship, a 42-point difference coming in RSR's advantage, so it is important for Elliott to try and recover and to try and score as many points for his team. So as he's making his way around, look like we have Callum Cripps there in the Brabham, the dark blue Honda Civic Type R just ahead. A little bit of a defensive cover there into Hawthorn. That'll be music to Fraser Hart's ears, who's now got a little bit of a gap as they run yet again through Sheen Curve. On the brakes, we've got Thomas O'Leary. He's well and truly bird down on the back of Tom Stevens for Brabham X Ferretti, and while these have all queued up behind the Brabham X Ferretti car, Richardson has built himself a very comfortable 2.1 second gap with his medium tyres. Stevens, oh no, contact in the background. I think that was Cripps and Elliott into the pit wall there. That's an incredibly unusual one, and there is a car on its roof. That is not what you see every day, and that Brabham was well and truly covering the apex, so that's going to be a tricky one for our drivers to manage. We'll have to see a replay of that one. We saw earlier in the year when we visited the Indy circuit a bit of contact and a few cars facing the wrong way before turn 1 when we visited the Indy circuit. We've just seen it again. Highly unusual and potentially with some constructors' ramifications. Let's have a look at the replay here. Looks like Elliott's got a good run. Bit of defence here from the Brabham car, and oh dear, 2 into 1 does not go. And the barriers are unforgiving. Well and truly wall riding and a little bit of is that 75-25 grinding, if I remember Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. I'm too old. Moving on, a little bit of an unfortunate contact there for those two, and I think the stewards may be having a look at that one a bit later on. So contact never ideal. Refocusing though, we've got O'Leary in 4th place now. Fraser Hart, while all that's been going on, using his soft tyres on the boost, has made some overtakes, which is fantastic to see. Up to 2nd place, making good use of not only the boost, but his softer tyres, and he's now got a healthy 1 second gap crossing the start-finish line between himself and Stevens just behind. He's got as well just a second or so up to Richardson, so he could be in with a shout of a race win here. He's used a few more laps of boost. Richardson not used any of his boost at this stage, so he's got a little bit of resource usage there to get that position, but great to see Fraser doing so well. Meanwhile, we've got a proper scrap here in and around the top 10. Everyone fighting for everything they've worked. Got Jack London up to 9th. We've got Herlock just very... Elliott, beg your pardon, just following in behind in that RSR. Obviously been in the... in having some adventures. Just jumping back though, we've now got a challenge for 3rd place between O'Leary and Stevens. Stevens on the boost. He's using that extra power just to consolidate that position. He does not want to be passed at this stage of the race. So he's well and truly maintained his grasp on 3rd place, and completely understandable. Everyone wants to get themselves onto the podium, and with of the field being as competitive as it has been this year. It really has been a treat to watch and call. That podium place will be incredibly sweet to claim and to have on the CV, as it were. So Stevens fighting for all his worst, a little more boost on the exit of Stirling's there. Another key corner to get right, long straight here into Clark Curve. Holding on, scrapping for everything that he's got. So that's what we like to see. Back now a little bit further to P13 and P14. We've got Joe Herlock in his RSR Astra in 14th place, really putting a lot of pressure on the back of, I believe that's Ben Willis, who's having a good run up to 13th, having started a little bit further down towards the back. Nice little crossover kind of move there, and Herlock makes his way through on the Drake driver. So position gain there for the RSR car, and again, hugely important for the team's championship. Every point is crucial. Little flash of yellow flag in sector 1 just a moment ago. Perhaps driver having a little bit of a wander off circuit, but that's now cleared, which is what we like to see. And yeah, just looking up and down the timing tower here, there's little battles everywhere. We're going to struggle. Alan Smith for Craven. He's occupied 16th place a lot, but he's found himself there yet again. But P15 of Mitch Marie is not that far up the road. Ooh, got a little bit of a look, a little bit of a move here. Callum Cripps, is that going round the outside then up the inside? My goodness, 2 for 1 on the way into and out of Surtees. Lovely stuff. Good move that. That's definitely, I think, caught a few folks unaware and a few folks napping. Lovely stuff. So for fair play to the Brabham driver there, recovering obviously from that earlier incident, being on his roof. So they build them strong, those Honda Civics, clearly. Scott Mitchell for Kings also had a fantastic season, has Scott. He's looking at the back here of Mitch Marie as well, having just gotten past Alan Smith in his Craven Racing Hyundai. So Scott making some places as well. We've got a real train here of cars all fighting over that 15th place. I think we'll go all the way down to about 20th second or so. So everything to fight for. Just jumping back towards the front of the field, though, this scrap for third place and the final podium position continues. Stevens used his boost a little while ago, was able to make a little bit of a gap. O'Leary keeping him very, very honest, though. He has not given up the scrap just yet. And it looks like Stevens continuing to use some boost even now. And look at that gap open up, ladies and gents. That is the power of the boost system. It is a really powerful factor on, as we've seen, it has definitely helped some teams and some drivers assert control dominance on a race early, and that's been the cornerstone of a race win and a good evening. And it definitely looks like Stevens has got designs to that regard. Now just jumping back a little bit further, Alan Smith still 17th place, but a few more movements, and it looks like Mitchell Marm has made another place up to 15th now for the Kings driver. So at this stage, it looks like Mitch perhaps just not quite in his rhythm and losing another place. Action everywhere, folks, my goodness. Just moving up to look towards our top 10, we've got a little trio here. We've got Louis Neal, Jack London and Emil Salberg. So that's Kings leading, Calamity leading Precious Automotive Racing. This trio here, over the start finish line they go, and we've definitely got these two Ford Focuses occupying each other. Louis, my goodness, taking a little bit of a non-conventional line through Paddock Hill Bend. There used to be a rallycross circuit here, so it's not unusual, but certainly not expected this evening. Nice cut under move there for the Calamity driver. Hard work though to hang around the outside of Graham Hill Bend, and as seen, not enough road there. Louis Neal, the beneficiary. Jack London from attacker becomes from hunter becomes hunted. So not quite working out that time for the Calamity driver, but we'll have to see now that Neal has the opportunity to pass Salberg. There may be an opportunity to regain that 9th place. As these folks scrap, of course, that gives opportunity to some of the drivers just behind. We have Ryan Elliott and Chris Butcher not too far behind in the RSR and Loadout Ford Focus respectively. So as with all racing, the more folks scrap, the more folks will join that scrap. So good to see the scrap going on for the top 10 positions. Just having a look a bit further up towards the front of the field. We've not seen too much of him, but that's kind of the ideal race as, I think, a race leader. Boring. Jordan Richardson, though, driving absolutely beautifully, hitting his marks. He has a 1.3 second gap from Fraser Hart. Fraser, though, absolutely flying. He's got the fastest lap of the race so far, and he is really going to ask, I think, some questions of Richardson, who is now using his boost. So we are now even on the boost usage throughout the race so far. So Fraser definitely, I think, has got some momentum behind him in his BMW. Tom Stevens still holding strong in the third place, just a couple seconds further behind. O'Leary not yet finding a way past the Brabham X-Ferretti driver, but still keeping him very honest. Just looking a little bit further down the field, we have our first here Spinardi car, Robin. I do absolutely adore this livery. I think it's fantastic. So welcome to VMO, welcome to TCUK, folks. Lovely Cupra livery here, lovely Cupra. He's currently in 18th place, I believe, and he was just chasing down Alan Smith. Back we go, though, to the front of the field. O'Leary still pursuing and harrying the back of the BMW of Stevens ahead. Stevens using his boost tactically on the exits of the slow corners, just building that bit of a gap on the straights. And it looks to me like O'Leary, he's definitely, I think, a bit more confident, carrying a bit more speed through the corners, but that looks to be equally matched by Fraser at using some of that boost. So, or beg your pardon, Stevens using some of that boost on the straight. So very much a cat and mouse game here. We've definitely seen good tactical usage of the boost so far from those two drivers. So, and of course, O'Leary only with the one lap of boost as well, of course, as our championship leader. So, a little bit of a replay. We've got Daniel Scott and his Spinardi. Let's see what happens here as he runs down through the dip towards Hawthorne's Bend. Oh, goodness, onto the grass and absolutely a passenger. And that gravel trap is there, but oh, goodness, it didn't do too much to help a Spinardi driver there. Unfortunately, he did find the wall. Hopefully, he's been able to carry on. But a little bit of damage. Just hearing from Cameron Extraordinaire, unfortunately that was a DNF for Daniel. So real pity, but that is touring car racing. That is Brands Hatch. It is a real punishing circuit, old school grass, gravel traps. You've got to keep your focus, got to hit your marks. Speaking of those hitting their marks, Louis Neal continues to make progress. He has now caught the back of the King's car, Emil Salberg, having obviously watched and seen Jack London try and do the same a few laps ago. So still as they were, but that BMW, I'd say, definitely getting closer, starting to have a very good look at the rear bumper of that Ford Focus. It will be interesting to see as the evening goes across how the tyres work out, how our front wheel drive and how our rear wheel drivers manage their tyres as they burn away throughout the race. A little bit of action here. We've got Dan Hurlock making a very bold move for 5th place, and my word, he has made it. He's run wide on the exit. That will leave him vulnerable to Luke Mitchell, and we've also got Cito Wire. Cito going very late on the brakes, trying to go all the way around the outside of Druids. That one not working, but my goodness, that was decisive from Hurlock, up 12 places in this race, and it's certainly going to, I think, make O'Leary check his mirrors, looking at his relative, seeing his main rival now just 1 place behind him. A 7-second gap, though, to make up for Hurlock. That's going to be a big, tall order in just 3 laps, but a good recovery from Hurlock to try and minimise the points loss here in race 1. Luke Mitchell there looking to also obviously make some places, go forward a bit. Cedar Wire now just ahead of him. Fraser Hart now has, well, truly, oh, no, hold on to it, Fraser. There we go. Good recovery. Oh, my goodness. He had absolutely motored up to the back of Jordan Richardson, and unfortunately a little bit of contact there in Sterling's, and that's just unsettled the back of that BMW. Oh, heavens. That's really unfortunate there for Fraser. Having just caught the back of him, he's now going to have to do it all over again. A 2.1 second gap as they cross the start-finish line there. Oh, goodness. I think we've all been there and done that at some point in our sim racing careers. Just misjudged it ever so slightly, the momentum being carried, and unfortunately a huge loss of time and position there. Louis Neal passing or attempting to pass around the outside Emil Salberg, and he's got that one done. Wow, great move. That is not an easy one to make. So Louis making it look easy. that is well and truly consolidated, and Emil now having to defend from London in the Calamity Ford Focus, going a little bit off-road there, trying to carry some speed. And if anything happens between these two, Chris Butcher is there to pick up the pieces. Lovely undercut on the exit of Graham Hill, and again, let's say, deja vu, if I can get my words out. Poor old Jack there, another attempt to pass Salberg, another position lost. So he's not giving up though. Looks like we've got a bit of a drag race down. Pilgrims drop into Hawthorne's Bend, going around the outside of Hawthorne's. That is definitely a brave move, and not on this time around. So another position lost, unfortunately, in the case of Jack, one gained in the case of Chris. So good racing there, and it just shows momentum and being in the right place at the right time, and a little bit of luck maybe can go a long way. So there we go, more places being made, and that all started, of course, with Louis Neal making a really bold move into Paddock Hill Bend. Let's just return up to the front of the field, because what was 2 seconds has rapidly dropped. This is going to be quite something. 2 seconds has become 2/10 of a second. Fraser Hart absolutely flying. May I speculate that perhaps the front-wheel drive front-wheel drive Honda Civic here of Jordan Richardson may be struggling on its tyres as we get into the final throes of this race. Definitely looks like that BMW is behaving just as Fraser needs it. He is all over the back of this drag machine. Jordan will not give this position up easily, though, I am sure. And you can see on the exit there of Surtees, good run out, and of course I think a little bit of top-end advantage there in that Honda Civic this time around. Just alleviates the pressure, but look at that as they run through Westfield Bend. For this, the 14th time of asking, that BMW closes right up. So I definitely say it looks like Fraser has the advantage, has the momentum, but it is one thing to catch. It is quite another to overtake. So we'll have to see how Fraser does. Now he has redone all of that hard work to try and recatch the race leader. We're in now to our final time through Clark Curve for this 14th lap. We will now be starting our final lap of the race. Jordan's had a pretty easy run of it to this point, but he's now going to have to work hard to consolidate what has been so far a light, well, after the dramas of the first lap, relatively speaking, lights to flag race lead so far as they run through Druids. Covering the inside there, not overly defending too much, just focusing on what he needs to do. But you can just see that BMW as it runs through the apex there of Graham Hill Bend, just carrying a little more speed. But that Honda so good on the exit of the Graham Hill Bend there, just able to stretch its legs ever so slightly. A bit of picture-in-picture for you, so you can ride on board here with Fraser Hart, both drivers on the boost as they run now out of Surtees for the final time in race one. Down Pilgrim's Dip, a nice bit of defensive cover there, fairly, from Richardson, just covering the inside, not making it easy or possible for Hart to come through, but that'll compromise him slightly. Oh, we've got a little bit of a scrap for third and fourth as well while all this is going on. So we'll have to keep an eye on the leaders just for now. Richardson holding on, that gap coming down, as it looks like O'Leary's finally made his way through past Stevens as they run into Sheen Curve. Richardson holding on, and it's going to be, I think, quite a challenge for Hart to do this one, but Richardson covering the inside of Clark Curve. Hart placing himself on the racing line. Is he going to try and do the undercut? Yes, he is. Oh, it's bumpy off the line there, trying to undercut, and I think he's just lost a little bit of momentum, but what a valiant effort there from Fraser Hart. Jordan Richardson wins race one from Fraser Hart. Thomas O'Leary, championship protagonist, comes home in third place from Tom Stevens. And it looks like we'll have Cedar Wire critically get fifth place from Daniel Herlock, our other Drivers' Championship protagonist. Oh, my goodness me. So as our runners and riders close out race one, my word, there was a little bit of everything in that race, was there not? So as we just wait, I believe, for Robin, our last runner and rider in this, the first race of the evening, to come home. Oh, no, beg your pardon. We've got a few more drivers. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. So it's had a little bit of everything, that race, as we've had our top 20 finish. We've had contact. We've had drama. We've had some cars on their roofs. if you've got your bingo card, start filling it in, folks. So we've had quite a bit of drama already, and we're only one race in. We've still got 2 to go. And, well, as we say, normally it's the 3rd race which has all the fireworks, but not today. So as Cameron Moss in his Vexo developments, Cupra crosses the start-finish line to wrap up our runners and riders for the first race. 1 round down, 2 to go, and my goodness, more of that, please, ladies and gents. Perhaps not so much the first lap contact, but there's some great racing, some great overtakes, and I think we've got a very interesting tyre situation to manage as the night goes on. Let's run through, though, our finishing order for race 1 this evening. Jordan Richardson, right place, right time, but drove perfectly himself, came home to win in his Drake Racing Honda Civic Type R, followed by Fraser Hart. After a stunning challenge and an excellent attempt there by Fraser, great podium finish. Thomas O'Leary, championship protagonist, came home in 3rd place. Tom Stevens, having defended that position valiantly, comes home in 4th. Still a fantastic result. Cedo Wire finishes in 5th place from our other main Drivers' Championship protagonist, Daniel Hurlock, in 6th. Luke Mitchell, Louis Neal, our Independence Championship, came home in P8, with Chris Butcher and Jack London rounding out our top 10. Emil Saarberg for Kings Racing finished in 11th place, with Ryan Elliott for RSR in 12th. Ben Willis, a good recovery there from a uncharacteristic qualifying position, came home in 13th place, with Mitchell Malm and Joseph Hurlock rounding out our points finishers. Dan Kell, Alan Smith and Callum Wilson finished in P16, 17 and 18th respectively, with Callum Cripps and Robin Moling finishing in 19th and 20th. Mitch Marie for Calamity finished in 21st place, with Jordan Osborne following him in 22nd. Cameron Moss, final of our finishers on the lead lap, came home in 23rd place, with Zach Evans in his Vapor Shield Racing Honda Civic in 24th. We then have the first of our non-finishers. We have Daniel Scott for Spinardi. We saw him have that unfortunate moment into Hawthorns. Ashley Gregory for Brabham came home in 26th, with Martha Allington and Simon Trebek, I believe, both involved in that lap 1 calamity. They finished in P27 and P28. So, as mentioned, that first race, my word, we normally have the 3rd race having the contacts and the dramas, but this evening our driver's having a few moments in the very first race of the evening. Just having a quick look, and of course all results provisional, we should say that, but just having a quick look at how that's affected our various championship fights, just to call out. O'Leary, of course, extending his lead by 5 points, I believe, between himself and Hurlock. So that's a dream start for him. Just obviously 2 more races to go. I believe Neil with that will have done enough to claim the independence. We'll obviously confirm that as things go on. And RSR, they gain an additional points over on Richards & Co. So we believe a total of 16 points for the RSR team, 15 for Richards & Co. in that first race. So that gap now up to 43 points. I think that's still mathematically possible to overhaul, but there's definitely going to need to be a lot of luck there. So with that all being said and done, a few movements. I think 1 additional championship sorted out there for Neil. We'll have to see. So yes, we will have to see what the next few races have in store. So yes, just confirming independence is now done. So congratulations, Louis. Good race for you there in that first race, and nicely done. Also, apologies, I've read it the wrong way around. It's Richards & Co. have the points advantage over RSR. There we go. So much going on, I can't keep up. but that's not new. Anyway, first race in the books. A lot to, I think, mull over there. So I think one thing just to keep an eye out for as our next 2 races pan out. First of all, that boost. We saw drivers use that to fantastic effect to defend their positions. Our drivers started with boost allocated based on their championship position. Now it will be based on the race 1 results. So we'll have the likes, for instance, of Jordan Richardson, who started with lots of laps of boost in the first race. He'll only have the 1 lap of boost now. So we'll have to keep an eye on how our drivers use that. Those who did well in the first race, well, they won't have perhaps all the tools they had in that first race. starting the second race. So I think keep an eye out for that boost usage, and in particular being used defensively there to very good effect. I think another story to keep an eye out for, the soft tyre. Very quick at the start. Again, Richardson demonstrating that, pulling a really very comfortable lead at the start. But it does appear as the race ran on there, that tyre started to fade away, particularly for the front wheel drive drivers. So just having a quick look at those who used the option tyre, and now those who will use the option tyre in the second race. We had 7 drivers in the first race, 6 in this. So just having a quick scan of who we've got. We've got Luke Mitchell. He was up towards the sharp end there in the top 10, so he'll have the option tyre. Martha Allington, unfortunately now out of it in the championships standings, but starting towards the back with that option tyre. I'm sure she'll be able to use that to good effect. We've got, I believe, I think that's I think the main runners and riders to point out, to keep an eye out for in this second race. So quick at the start, perhaps not the longest wearing, and we have 10 drivers in the last race to make use of those tyres, those option tyres as well. So a few stories, a few things to keep an eye out for, a little bit of everything. And it's lovely to see folks obviously engaging with the stream. So hello to Liam. We've got actually a few of the drivers. We've got Martha and Simon in the YouTube chat. Hello to Conrad Smith and Kitty Cat as well. So yes, lovely to have you all with us this evening, enjoying the racing. If you've got any comments, questions, feel free to leave those. We'll try and get those included as well. But thank you very much for tuning in and watching. Hopefully, will be an excellent second and third races left to go this evening. So yes, a little bit of a fast and frantic start, just having a look, lots of debate, lots of discussion going on in the driver's lounge following the first race. Definitely looks like everyone agrees it was just a little bit of a wrong place, wrong time, checkups, and getting caught out by what was a pretty tricky situation in the start of the race on the exit of Graham Hill Bend. So just having a quick look as well. I'm going to have to channel my good broadcast partner, Phil, who's on holiday this week. Phil has had an interesting kind of tidbit and bit of fun, which is racing circuits in reverse that we visit. Of course, you've got the likes of Knockhill, which you can indeed in the real world drive in reverse. One of the beautiful benefits of the virtual world, of course, is we can do these things as well. Just hearing from Camman Extraordinaire, so full credit to Tom, who's done the research, done the digging here. But apparently, in 1954, when the real world Brands Hatch first started racing, they actually raced the Indy circuit in reverse. So there you go. And there was a reverse layout in Gran Turismo 7. So there you go, Phil. You've got some reverse racing referenced even in your absence. Yes, I think Brands Hatch Indy in reverse would be quite interesting, actually. I think Paddock Hill Bend is one of the most distinctive opening corners in motorsport, so it'd be quite interesting to have that as the last bend. Yes, well, there we go, reverse racing. Again, there's a few circuits that I do want to give a go in reverse, based off of the trend. I think Oulton Park was one of the ones that I wanted to have a go at, even though we didn't have the broadcast. Croft would be another interesting one with the big pin at the start. So there we go, a bit of fun to have in the off season, potentially as the championship wraps up. So we'll be moving to our second race of the evening very, very shortly. Our drivers have had their warm-up for the second race of the evening. As mentioned, we will start the second race in the order that was finished in the first race. So we'll have Jordan Richardson starting in pole position. He'll only have the 1 lap of boost. He'll be followed by Fraser Hart with 2. Thomas O'Leary, our championship leader, will have 3. So on and so forth up to 8th place. I believe after that, everyone else will have 8 laps of boost. Another 15-lap race will lay ahead of us, and we'll have to see what Brands Hatch GP has to offer up for our second race of the night. So just as we wait for transition to occur, I'm going to have a quick slurp of water. The one thing commentating on your own, you've got to keep got to keep yourself hydrated, and that is true in general as well, folks. Keep hydrated. It's important. So as we just wait for the race session to kick in, looks like drivers are just about to start gridding. In a moment, we will be able to run through the full starting order. I think drivers to keep an eye out for, well, of course, you've got our main drivers, protagonists of O'Leary and Hurlock. Thomas O'Leary missed a race 2. I would have to have a look to see who worked out the fact, but one of the drivers in the TCUK lounge worked out that O'Leary has won the most race 2s of anyone in VMO history in the TCUK Championship. So Thomas is Mr. Race 2. We'll have to see what he can do, starting in a very solid 3rd place in race 2 this evening. So yes, keep an eye out for O'Leary. Keep an eye out for Daniel Hurlock. And I think just keep an eye out for some of these folks on the soft tyres. I think just heard that Wire was on the soft tyre. Luke Mitchell, on the soft tyre, and he'll be starting inside the top 10. So there we go. Drivers getting up and running for the 2nd race of the evening. Everyone just pulling away from their grid slots, and you can actually, this is a really good camera angle, you can see that camber, that elevation, that hill that our drivers start on, particularly the front wheel drive cars really do struggle to get away. They'll slide down the hill there on our starting grid. Just another thing that everyone has to keep an eye on and manage. So as our drivers make their way around, let's run through the full starting order. Jordan Richardson will start in pole position, followed by Fraser Hart. Thomas O'Leary, championship protagonist, will start in 3rd place, followed by Tom Stevens. We'll have to see if Tom and Thomas will continue their scrap from the first race for that podium position. Cedar Wire for Brabham will start in 5th place, followed by our other drivers, championship protagonist Daniel Hurlock in 6th place. He'll be followed by Luke Mitchell, first of our soft tyre runners, in 7th. Louis Neal, our 2B independent champion, will start in 8th place, followed by Chris Butcher. Jack London will round out our top 10. Moving on, Emil Salberg for Kings will start in 11th place, followed by the RSR of Ryan Elliott. Ben Willis for Drake will start in 13th place, followed by Scott Mitchell-Marm for Kings in 14th. Joseph Hurlock, the final RSR, will start in 15th place, followed by Daniel Kell for Calamity Motorsport. Alan Smith for Craven will start in 17th, with Callum Wilson for Richards & Co in 18th. Callum Cripps for Brabham in 19th will be followed by Robin Mulling for Spinardi in 20th. Mitch Marie will start in 21st place, followed by Jordan Osborne for Unlimited. 23rd place will be Cameron Moss, followed by Zach Evans in 24th. Daniel Scott for Spinardi will be in 25th, followed by Ashley Gregory. And then our final row of the grid as our drivers approach the start-finish line will be Martha Allington for YTF Racing, starting in 27th, followed by Simon Trebek. So as our drivers make their way around the final corner there, Clark Curve, to take their grid positions, we've got O'Leary in picture-in-picture on the start for you. We will wait for everyone to get themselves lined up into their grid boxes, position themselves ready for round 29 of this year's TCUK Championship. Looks like everyone is roughly in position. We wait for the engine revs to rise and the lights to come on. Lights are on, lights are off, and away we go. Looks like a really strong start there from Thomas O'Leary. Jordan Richardson ahead of him there in picture-in-picture as they all, like a swarm of angry bees, charge down towards Paddock Hill Bend. Everyone pretty much through Paddock Hill Bend, a few little sideways movements in the back of the pack there, but everyone making their way into Druids Bend. O'Leary comes out at the point as they run into Graham Hill Bend. Tom Stevens following him through. Cedar Wire gaining a few places there as well. Richardson, our pole position sitter, struggling a little bit. Few cars running a little bit wide out of Graham Hill Bend on the first time of asking, but no contact on the exit as we saw in the first race. It's what we like to see, everyone getting a good start, everyone safely through the first sector of the lap. Down they run through Pilgrim's Drop. Daniel Hurlock looking to try and get up the inside here of Richardson, And a little bit of contact. Oh my goodness me, two big moments there for the RSR and the Drake driver, front wheel drive, I think, just helping both of those cars stay pointing in the right direction. They've got a real gaggle of cars here. Just having a look here at Dan Kell in his Focus up to the inside there into Sheen Curve. I think that's Louis Neal in the BMW running wide. Ooh, well held. Not easy to do that. That grass is slippy. A little bit of a loss of momentum, though, for Louis there, and he's now got Daniel Kell well and truly asking some serious questions, trying to pass the Precious Automotive Racing driver. Robin Moling for Spinardi here, having a look at the back of the Vapor Shield Racing here of Zach Evans. He's running a little bit slowly there. Did he miss a gear shift? Quite possibly, but he's lost a place there as he crossed the start-finish line back up towards the front of the field. Cedo Wire is not hanging around. He is up into third place, but he's now got a fast-charging soft tyre shod. Luke Mitchell and that loadout Ford Focus giving him lots of problems. Run through the exit here of Graham Hill Bend for the second time of asking. No little look, no little dive there from Luke. He's biding his time. He knows he's perhaps got the stronger tyre on, and he'll find an opportunity in due course. Daniel Hurlock up to fifth place. He's got himself past Jordan Richardson. Richardson not giving up. He's definitely remaining in the mirrors. He's having a look, but no way through there. Of course, Hurlock, he's got a championship to think about. Jordan Richardson, not so much. And perhaps he can be a little more bold with his moves, whereas Hurlock has to be a little more conservative. Tricky position to be in as a championship protagonist, but Hurlock survives that one. And now eyes forward. He's got a little bit of free air. He can just focus on hitting his marks and trying to catch up to the back of Cedo Wire now. Just up ahead. Luke Mitchell has gotten past Cedo as they ran through the second sector of the lap there. So Luke Mitchell with his soft tyres and now using a little bit of boost for good measure, catching up to the back of second place. A little bit of a yellow flag moment earlier, just a second ago. We've got a little bit of a replay here. We've got, I think, is this 3 wide possibly? Oh no! 3 wide, I think, down in towards the Pilgrim's Drop under the bridge. It does get narrow there. And unfortunately, 3 into 1 does not go. A huge shame there for Cameron. I think just being a little bit the wrong place, wrong time, ending up in the wall. So drama there, and I believe a DNF as well. So I think our first DNF of this race. Louis Neal, oh my goodness, Louis Neal, the independent, also DNF'd. Didn't quite see what happened on that one, but that's a bit of surprise. We'll have a see if we can find out what's happened there. So while all that's been happening, Luke Mitchell, he's using those soft tyres. He's absolutely flying. He's up to second place. He's got himself past Tom Stevens, and I think we've now got a replay of what's happened here with Neal. He's gone up the inside of Sheen Curve, and it looks like he's there, right? Has he gone on the grass on the exit, maybe? Oh, heavens, yes, he has. And there's a bump out there, and has he held onto it? Oh, dear. No, he has not. Looks like a little bit of a passenger, and yes, the exit of Sterling's there in particular, it's cambered, it's quick, you've got to get it right to get the exit onto this long straight, and it's so tempting to keep your foot in, but there's a bump there. It sends those rear-wheel drive cars in particular sideways. Louis finding out the hard way. Hurlock up to fourth place. My goodness me, he's making some moves. He's passed now Cedo Wire and is now just a few places behind his championship rival, with Luke Mitchell bearing down on the back of the Richardson co-driver. We might have our 2 championship protagonists together, and that could start obviously to really spice things up in terms of the overall championship. Looking a little bit now further back to Callum Wilson, currently running in 14th place, catching up very quickly to the back of, I believe that is Jack London. I've got here, I'm not sure if that's quite right. So Callum Wilson, beg your pardon. We've got Callum Cripps just behind. Beg your pardon, reading that wrongly. Moving on, we've now got Ryan Elliott. He's in 10th place, so I can definitely say that one right. Running through Surtees this time around in his Astra, recovering obviously from that huge moment in the first race. He's got a little bit of a gap, got 2 King's cars flying in formation just behind, those being Salberg and Mitchell Marm. Looks like perhaps a little bit of a switch around, and my goodness me, Elliott not with the best run out of Hawthorne Bend there, and just like that, we've got a King's car ahead. Now here comes the second King's car. A little bit of tag team action from the King's teammates. Little bit of a bump, little bit of a rub. And my goodness me, these two starting to trip over each other. And that's going to bring Jack London well and truly into the mix. So yeah, a little bit of an unusual mistake there from Ryan Elliott through the back of the Hawthorne Bend and into the back section of the circuit. A position lost and nearly potentially a little bit more. It's focusing a little more now, further forward. We've got Jordan Richardson, our pole sitter, our race 1 winner, now catching up to the back of Cedo Wire, recovering now from what was a pretty tricky start. Brands GP, so difficult. If you're overtaken, you lose momentum, you're off the ideal line. It is so easy to find yourself tumbling down the positions. I think that's what Jordan found himself in the unfortunate position of, and he's now, I think, getting back into his rhythm, into the swing of things, and he's now got Cedo Wire very definitely in his sights. He wants to obviously try and gain a few more places back. Looks like a pretty even exit this time out of Surtees down into Pilgrim's Drop and into Hawthorne's Bend, but not close enough to make a move this time around. And I think, oh my goodness, was that just a little bit of a stutter? He just lost a place there. Oh dear. Not ideal. The virtual world and obviously the real world, we have different types of failures and unusual moments. That's definitely up there. So I think he has just gone from 6th into 7th with a little bit of a stutter. That's a pity, but he's still running. Oh, Daniel Hurlock, my goodness, he's made a mistake and he's gone off the road there on the exit. I believe that's of Stirling's. Yes, it is, as he now enters Clark Curve. So didn't quite see what was the start of that, but a yellow flag moment for him there, which is not ideal, but he's pushing hard. It just shows everyone is giving it their all in the final 2 races of the championship, and Hurlock is no exception to that. So he's been able to get away with that one. No doubt lost a little bit of time to the cars ahead, but critically still in the running. He's now got about 2 seconds to make up to Tom Stevens, the next car up the road. So Luke Mitchell continues to make good progress, up 5 positions into 2nd place, using a little bit of boost this time around. I'll keep an eye on the lap times just to see how he does. Thomas O'Leary currently the fastest, with the fastest lap of the race. So our championship leader, our race leader, starting as he means to come on. Just hearing in my ear that if things were to finish as they are, that would seal the Drivers' Championship. So we'll have to see what happens. Certainly lap 6 of 15, things going the way of O'Leary. So we'll keep you updated on that one as things progress. Richardson in 7th place now, hopefully stabilised. He's well and truly on the back here of Cedo Wire. And on the brakes, he goes into the very fast and challenging Sheen Curve, and he's got Cedo defending, and that's going to make him vulnerable through Stirling's. And look at that, Richardson trying to get up and underneath the Brabham driver, can't quite do it, and while all this has been going on, it's brought Fraser Hart back into the mix. So what has become attack is now going to become defense here for Richardson. Of course, our 2 drivers doing incredibly well in the first race, back together here in the 2nd race, but unfortunately not quite at the sharp end of the field. They're in the midfield a little bit here, so still plenty of time for both of them to make some moves, to make some progress forward. Their first challenge, of course, will be to navigate the very quick Cedo Wire in his Brabham Honda Civic. Just keeping an eye on some movers and shakers. Our fastest lap has now been taken by Luke Mitchell. He's only just taken the fastest lap by just a few hundredths of a second, so incredibly evenly matched between O'Leary in 1st and Mitchell in 2nd place. The gap 1.4 seconds at the moment, now down to 1.3. And it definitely looks like Luke is starting to slowly but surely make his way onto the back of the BMW of O'Leary. Dan Kell up into 5th place. He's having a good run here. He's now caught up to the back of Hurlock. Hurlock critically not used any of his boost, as we now just have a quick look here at a gaggle of cars making their way through Dingle Dell into Sheen Curve. Definitely single file traffic here. It looks like Fraser Hart has been able to make a place on Jordan Richardson through the 2nd sector here, and he's now defending. Looks like Elliott's also made his way through as well. So I think a few moves, few overtakes, and the order shuffling well and truly around. Dan Kell, as mentioned, catching up to the back of Daniel Hurlock here. Of course, Dan Kell, our 2021 Drivers' Champion. He knows what it takes to win a championship. he knows exactly what Daniel Hurlock will be thinking and going through as well. So I'm sure we're going to have a good scrap between these two. Ryan Elliott now in his RSR. Again, the team's battle heating up, getting all the more important, making more places. So let's see what happened here as they run into Westfield Bend. Lovely move there from Hart. My word, up onto two wheels, proper touring car stuff, but it slows himself down. It slows Richardson down. Ryan Elliott says, thank you very much. I'll have that, boys. Through he goes. Lovely bit of opportune driving, and that can make all the difference. So more points gained for the RSR team. Ryan Elliott, lovely bit of opportunistic driving, as said, and a lovely overtake there from Fraser Hart as well. Gotta love it when a touring car gets up onto two wheels. So yeah, fully committed. It's what we like to see. And these folks, they're all still stacked up. Then they're still racing hard, and this is far from over. Speaking of racing hard, it doesn't matter if it's for points, if it's for championships. You'll see racing all over the field in VMO and TCUK. And here we've got a scrap here for 21st and 22nd place. We've got Robin in the Spinardi, all over the rear wing of the Hyundai there of Alan Smith, all scrapping over 21st place as mentioned. Well and truly giving themselves a good race there, exiting Sterling's. Just jumping back towards the front of the field just again. Dan Kell still not quite found a way through or by Dan Hurlock. Hurlock has got 6 laps of boost to use. Dan Kell also has 6 laps of boost to use, so they're even there. Ooh, got a little bit of a moment there, I think, for Callum Wilson in the Richardson Co Racing car. That certainly looked a little bit of a handful on the exit of the Druids Bend there. I have to see if there's a little bit of a moment, a little bit of a collision there, but looks like he's trying to make some progress. Really hustling the back of that BMW, getting it a little bit sideways on the exit there of Surtees. So important to square up that corner, get the power on early, because this run through Pilgrim's Drop into Hawthorns, it is, oh no, it's huge. Speaking of huge, there's a car off in the background. That was one of the Drags, can't tell which. Looks like, oh, it's Richardson, our pole position and a race 1 winner, backwards at the exit of Hawthorne Bend. I certainly saw 2 cars involved there, Richardson of course being one. Disaster for Richardson and the Drake team. What was a fantastic start to the evening, unfortunately derailed a little bit there for him. We'll have to see if we can get a replay of that. Hawthorne's such a fast bend, it's tricky to get a pass done, and a little bit of contact. The cars are very loaded up, and you end up in the accident very quickly. Let's just see what happens here. 2 cars going for the position. Oh heavens, not quite clear. 2 into 1 did not go, and unfortunately Richardson found himself at the scene of the accident before he knew it. So real pity there for the Drake driver, but 1 more race to go. Never give up, you never know what may happen. So drama towards the lower end of the points at this point, but let's now just focus here on this fight around P9 and P10, beg your pardon. Cedar Wire, who was up towards the sharp end of the grid, he's gone backwards a little bit here. Not quite sure why that is, but he's in 9th place at the moment. He's got Callum Wilson just ahead, and now he's coming under attack here. My goodness me, that almost looked like he was on the brakes. My goodness, Emil Sarberg just drove by there, the Brabham car, so that's a little bit uncharacteristic and unusual. Meanwhile, the fight for 4th still rages on. Dan Kell looking up the inside there of Westfield, not quite happening. This is perhaps the worst case scenario for Hurlock. He's having to defend for his life, and he's not able to focus on what he needs to do. Hurlock just covering the middle of the road, making Kell do all of the work to try and get that pass done. Good bit of fair defensive driving from Hurlock as they round Clark Curve. Now just focusing a little bit further back here, we've got 15th place. This is Mitch Marie for Calamity. Final points playing position, and there's a real gaggle of cars here all around. We've got Zach Evans, Martha Anton, Robin Moling, Jordan Osborne, all in close proximity here, all wanting that pointer. So we've got Zach Evans moving his way past Mitch Marie there on this time of asking, but going a little bit deep into Paddock Hill Bend, and just like that, Mitch Murray retakes the place. Here comes Martha. She's up the inside of Druids. Classic overtake, expertly done, and attack becomes defense, and we've got a real little scrap here for the final points playing position. Oh, is Zach going to have a little look here into Graham Hill? He does have a little look. Martha just gives a bit of space, perhaps compromises her exit ever so slightly. Meanwhile, Mitch Marie just focuses on what he needs to do. Focuses on the next bend, which is Surtees. Oh, car off wide. I think that was Chris Butcher and the loadout Ford Focus. Oh dear. Drama for Butcher there. We'll have to see what happened there. Meanwhile, the battle for fourth still rages on. Deja vu yet again. Oh my goodness me! Sideways goes the Ford Focus on the exit there. Kell holds onto it, but Herlock still holding on strong, both on the boost, on the exit. Kell a little bit longer on the boost into Clark Curve, well and truly under the rear wing of that Astra. And ooh, has he got the front end on that Ford Focus to get underneath the RSR? Not quite, but scrapping there for that fourth place. A little bit further back, we've got Robin in the Spinardi. He's having a look, a little bit of a rub there with, I believe that is Zach Evans in the Vapor Shield car round the outside of Clark Curve. That will be a brave move. And we've got Kell up the inside of Druids. Will Herlock? Oh, no, not another car upside down. Oh, heavens. Oh, my goodness. I say, if I had a penny and we saw it twice, I can't quote it. There we go. Another car upside down into Paddock Hill Bend. Again, where's the bingo card for that one? Do not know. Dan Kell did get up the inside of Dan Herlock, but for the looks of it, those positions have reversed between Graham Hill Bend and Druids. So Herlock holds on to fourth place. Kell dropping a little bit, about half a second behind the RSR driver. Huge moment there, obviously, for the Spinelli driver, and I think we're about to get a replay. Going around the outside of Clark Curve is going to be bold. Is there going to be a car on the inside? Yes, it is. Very similar, actually, to our first incident in the first race. No rollover this time around. I don't think I imagined that, but hey, who knows? It's been a long day. Just hearing I did. Excellent. I'm not that imaginative, folks. So yes, another big incident into Paddock Hill Bend. Unfortunately, very similar incident to the one we saw in the first race as well. But hopefully all drivers still running and riding. Just having a look. Unfortunately, no, I've cursed them yet again. So a few more retirements, unfortunately, in the second race of this evening. So as our runners and riders round the lap and start lap 13, we've got a 3-second gap from Mr. Race 2, Thomas O'Leary. He is still leading. He has regained the fastest lap while all of this has been going on. He still has a lap of boost to use as well. Luke Mitchell still in second place, but he's definitely dropped back a little bit. So again, maybe the tyres are starting to go away from that front-wheel drive Ford Focus. We have seen drivers expertly use the boost as the races have progressed, as tyres have worn away, to kind of offset the tyre wear. And it looks like Luke is doing an excellent job of keeping that average, if you will, lap time across the race nice and high, nice and low, I beg your pardon. And he's holding on to that second place really nicely. Tom Stevens in third, of course, looking for that podium. We've got a little bit of a gap, actually, back to the battling Dan Kell and Dan Herlock, who have provided some great entertainment as they run through the Sheen curve yet again. While all this is going on, we've got Ryan Elliott slowly but surely creeping onto the back of the Calamity driver. So we might have two RSRs fighting one Calamity in a sandwich sort motion, but Dan Kell doesn't want any of that. He's trying around the outside now of the Clark curve. Nothing doing that time around. Everyone here on the boost in shot, so nice and even on the power. Looks like Kell a little bit to the outside, trying to take the traditional line. A little bit of defense there from Dan Herlock. Now just looking a little bit further back, we've got an absolute train of cars here, all fighting over 7th, 8th and 9th. Just to now jump back to 4th and 5th place. It's action non-stop, folks. Dan Kell definitely wants to get by this RSR. He's seen enough of that rear wing and lovely pink livery still being run, of course, for some breast cancer awareness from the RSR team, which is a lovely gesture. But yes, he wants that 4th place. He wants to position himself as best he can for the final race of the year and of the evening. He's having a little bit of a look up into Hawthorns. I think Herlock feeling a bit not falling for that one. You're going to have to catch him early in the morning to put that move on him. But my goodness me, we now well and truly do have a sandwich. A little bit of a check-up, a little bit of a slowdown, of course, to take the Westfield Bend, and Kell bumper to bumper with Herlock and with Elliott, and my goodness me, this is getting very, very spicy. This is potentially a little bit of a recipe of disaster. You don't want to have an accident occur between teammates or some sort of collision taking these three out. That would well and truly put a nail in the championship position. But look at Kel! My goodness me, what a run that he's had out of the exit of Sterling's into Clark. He actually got alongside, I think, just ahead through the apex of Clark, but that Astra has come on strong along the start finish straight. They're still door to door through Paddock Hill Bend. Fantastic stuff through the compression. But here comes Ryan Elliott. Now the RSRs could work together, lock out, box out the stop, and my goodness me, just like that, Elliott is now up to 4th place. Herlock has lost, oh my goodness, this is properly getting into some touring car roughness now. Elliott up to 4th place, now down into 6th place. Herlock retaining the 4th position. Dan Kell running around the outside of Surtees. Is he going to be left some room? Yes, just about. But this is big championship point swings, and now bringing in the likes of Sahlberg, Wilson, and potentially Wire. This is going to group 4th all the way down to 9th before long. And Herlock is really fighting for everything he's got. Oh, no! Huge contact. We've got Elliott up on the roof of Dan Kell. Hearing that from a point situation, Herlock needs 3rd place. Well, that's not quite happening at the moment. But Herlock and Kell all coming together there with Elliott. Meanwhile, Thomas O'Leary, Mr. Race 2, a dream race for him. He's just focused on what he's needed to do and forget about the point situation. He wins race 2. With the fastest lap. Luke Mitchell comes home in 2nd place. Looks like Tom Stevens is going to come home in 3rd. Here comes Dan Herlock. Dramatic last lap of the race. Comes home in 4th place. We will have to run the numbers for you, but that is, it may be the championship done and dusted. We will confirm. But huge swing there for potentially the drivers as well as the constructors championship with that moment there for Ryan Elliott. Onto the roof almost of Dan Kell. That was some hard racing. It was fair, and then it got perhaps a little bit rambunctious at the end there, but that could be more definitive than we thought at the time. Goodness me, everyone else has pretty much come home. I think we're watching Jordan Richardson round out the final finisher here in 24th place. And we're going to have a quick look at the points, but we think that maybe the championships for both the drivers and the teams wrapped up on race 2 of the evening. So, oh boy, it was a slow burner, that one. It all kicked off right at the end, but as we saw throughout, wherever the racing was going on, be it for 21st or 20th or 1st and 2nd, there was action to be had up and down the grid. So let's just run through our finishing order here for race 2 this evening. Thomas O'Leary, Mr. Race 2, he does it again. He comes home in 1st place, followed by Luke Mitchell. Tom Stevens gets his podium for this evening in 3rd place. Dan Herlock came home in 4th place, followed by Emil Sahlberg for Kings. What a good result for the Kings driver there. Callum Wilson for Richardson Co. in 6th, with Dan Kell having had that scrap for most of the race there, coming home in 7th place. Cito Wire came home in 8th, and he was followed by Scott Mitchell-Malm and Joseph Herlock in P9 and P10 respectively. So in P11 we have Ryan Elliott following that little bit of drama right at the end. Martha Allington recovering from P27, I believe it was, at the start of this race, coming home in P12, so a good return there. Callum Cripps for Brabham in 13th, followed by Zach Evans. Our final points finisher, Chris Butcher, in 15th. Alan Smith, he's done it again, he's in 16th, has come home in 16th, followed by Jordan Osborne. Ben Willis for Dragon 18th, followed by Mitch Murray and Fraser Hart in 19th and 20th. Last but not least, we've got Jack London and Ashley Gregory finishing in P21 and P22. Daniel Scott for Spinardi in P23. And our final finisher, Jordan Richardson, starting from the pole in 24th. We then have 4 non-finishers in the second race this evening. Robin Moling, Simon Trajek, Louis Neal and Cameron Moss, all non-finishers in our second race. So, with provisional score, and we're still going to be running the numbers, so bear with us. We think that the driver's title has been sealed for Thomas O'Leary. We think he'll win even now on countback, but we think the teams, there's still something to play for there. So one championship we're pretty confident has been sealed. Teams, we're still running the numbers. So still championships and still things to, of course, run and race for. And we're going to get to the third race, the fun race, the reverse grid race, where we have most of the field on the soft, fast tyre. Oh my goodness! I think, folks, we're going to have quite a spectacle for round 30 of 30 of our TCUK Championship this year. And with that being said and done, it's going to be, I think, a grandstand finish to what has been a grandstand season. So yes, it's a little bit of contact there towards the end, perhaps soured things a little bit, but all in all, Brands Hatch GP yet again delivering us some great racing. As mentioned, be it for 20th or 21st or 4th and 3rd, there was something for everyone there. And it is a bit tricky, I think, to overtake around this circuit at times, but I think with the addition of the tyres as well as the boost system, that's just brought that disadvantage of being the following car. It's just evened things out a bit, and I think we've seen some good balance and good racing going on. So we're still crunching the numbers here. These are, of course, all still provisional results until obviously the stewards have done their reviews of any incidents which may have occurred and so on and so forth. But we are now calling that the team's championship has also just been wrapped up for Richards & Co. With that moment, we think there's a gap of, I think that's 51 or so points. And of course, there's not 51 or so points remaining for our drivers to claim. So we think that maybe those three drivers or those three championships wrapped up as well. So we believe O'Leary provisionally winning our drivers. We've got Louis Neal for the independents as well as Richards & Co for the teams. And we know that Richardson has got, again, provisionally the purple sector wrapped up. So all provisional. All needs to go through the proper due process and so on and so forth. But certainly a little bit of controversy, a little bit to discuss in the stewards room, I think, before it's all said and done. But touring car racing, it's going to be rough, it's going to be robust, and I think we definitely saw a little bit of that in that second race. Let's just talk about the third race. I just alluded to reverse grid. Much like the real world, we will reverse or draw a number out of a hat for our reverse grid pole position. Anyone in the top 12 could be eligible. So if you finished in 12th place, as I believe Martha Allington did, if number 12 is drawn, she will find herself in pole position for the start of the race. So we'll have to wait and see for that number to be drawn. But just having that little bit of randomness and allowing some of the drivers who perhaps finish in the midfield but are just as quick as the leaders if they get their chance, gives them an opportunity to win a race. And of course, it just varies the racing and the grid up ever so slightly. As we've seen, it looks like that option tyre definitely has a strong advantage at the start of the race, and it peters off, it fades off a little bit as the race runs on, and we've got 10 of our 28 drivers, as I can see it, on that option tyre. So I think it's going to be a little bit chaotic, folks. There's definitely a race to stay up and watch, and it's going to be, I think, action-packed, to say the very least. Also, just having it confirmed as well that Martha was indeed up 15 positions in that second race. So I did remember correctly. That's good. My mind does work sometimes. So lovely stuff, Martha. Good recovery. And again, the 3-race format allows that, of course. It's not one big event where if you have a moment and that's it, that's your event done. 3 races, plenty of opportunity to regain and allow yourself to basically make something of the evening still. So just waiting for our reverse grid to be drawn. I think, just to tease me ever so slightly, it's actually done in video form. So there we go, and it looks like it's the number 8. So just having a quick look here at the finishing order, I believe that will place Cito Wire on pole position, our final pole position of the year. He'll be followed by Dan Kell, Callum Wilson, Emil Salberg, and Dan Herlog. So not the maximum level of not the maximum level of chaos, if you will. It's not a full 12 reverse, but it's still a reasonable number of drivers being reversed. And we saw Cedo. He had a good start to the race. I think he fell back a little bit during that second race. I believe he also used the soft tyre. Let me just double check that here. During the second race. No, he used it in race 1. So he's got the prime tyre to work with. So he's perhaps got a little bit of hard work to perhaps keep some of those soft tyres back. But if you can get a good start and run away into the distance a little bit, perhaps the tyres will come back towards him as the race runs on. So still an opportunity to bring home a good result in the third race. And I do believe, and you can certainly throw shoes at me the next time that he sees me, but Phil, our very own Phil, who's been commentating alongside me this year, he won a race 3 around Brands GP in that kind of fashion. So anything can happen in the race 3 around Brands Hatch GP at the end of the year. We'll have to see what Cedo can do. So just having a bit of a look here at the tyre selection and who we've got where. Callum Wilson, just hearing from Cameraman Extraordinaire, confirmed on the soft tyre as well, so he will be rapid as well. Of course, Callum in the BMW, so we'll have to see how the BMW does with its medium tyres. Dan Hurlock does as well. O'Leary does. So we'll have our two. Well, we believe O'Leary has sealed it even now, but we'll have even footing for the final race between our two championship protagonists. So far this year, sorry. So that'll be nice and even. And just having a bit of a look, we've got Chris Butcher on them as well. We've got Tom Stevens as well, who's been doing really well this evening. So I think lots of people to keep an eye out for on the softer tyre. So yes, plenty to keep an eye on for in our third race. And I don't think I've mentioned this so far. We will have interviews, hopefully, with some of our championship winners and protagonists after the race, so hopefully we'll get some of their thoughts as they obviously reflect on their not only evening but their season. So still plenty to look forward to as we just wait for our drivers to complete their warm-up. I think we're just waiting for a few drivers to get themselves onto track, and get things sorted. See a few drivers just getting used to the extra grip of some of these tyres as well. I think that says a lot, just how much extra grip the option tyre has as well. So just as our drivers prepare themselves, I'm going to prepare myself for the third race by having yet some more water. Stay hydrated, folks. There we go. So yes, it's been a busy first two races. So one more driver just waiting before we can refresh and move into the race session. So yes, we'll have to just fill a little bit. It's hard to remember and reflect on a whole season, but I think there's one driver I would call out has been a real, I think, superstar and has done incredibly well throughout the season. I know it's not an official award, but just want to call out in particular new joiner to the championship in the Challenger Cup. For example, this year, not won a race before this year. Jordan Richardson, well done to you, sir. I think you've done and put together a fantastic season. And step up to Drake. You've won a race this evening, for example. Most improved. I don't know. I'm trying to invent a title on the fly, but kudos to you, sir. I think you've done put together a fantastic little campaign, challenge. So well done to you. You get my thumbs up as someone who's put together an excellent championship. So hopefully we will see you back for the next TCUK season. Carry the momentum forward. I mentioned it right at the start, but if you're watching us, well, first of all, welcome. Thank you. Hope you're enjoying what you're seeing. If you're interested in being on the grid, you will be able to have that opportunity. Give us a search online for Virtual Motorsport Online. Come and find the Discord server, and you'll find a lovely community of drivers. And you could find yourself, like I say, on the TCUK grid for a future season. Mentioned right at the start as well, of course, we've got plenty of other virtual motorsport action on the cards as well. We've got our World Rally Series starting up in the winter, so we'll be taking on, I believe, 10 or so rallies from all over the world in a variety of different classes as well, so a little bit of variety there as well on Richard's Burners Rally. And we have in the past as well done some sports car racing and prototype racing as well, so a little bit of something for everyone, as well as just a really fun community of like-minded motorsport fans and virtual motorsport fans at that. So just while we're waiting for everyone to get themselves ready for the final race of the year, full credit again to cameraman extraordinaire Tom. Fun fact is, apparently O'Leary is the only driver to finish every single race this season. Consistency wins championships. There's no other argument for it. So I feel once he starts this next race, of course, and assuming that he finishes it, he will have completed the whole lot. So fair dues. That is not an easy thing to do sometimes, particularly if you find yourself wrong place, wrong time, caught up in an accident, which is not your own making. And apparently Dan Hurlock and Alan Smith have only retired from one race each. So closely following O'Leary there. So I always set myself the goal whenever I race to at least finish, ideally finish well. But have fun doing it. It's in my experience, if you start focusing on results first, you tend to not have as much fun. So yeah, finishing the race, having some enjoyment from the challenge of hustling a car around a circuit as quickly as you can, door to door, wheel to wheel with other folks doing the same. I think that's the main thing, and it's mighty enjoyable and mighty fun when you get into the rhythm of it. Can't tell you the number of times I've been lapping something, let's say, I don't know, a prototype around Daytona, and you all of a sudden look at your watch and you realize you've been driving for 40 minutes and you're about to run out of fuel again. So yes, it's good to focus, I think, on the fun and the enjoyment. It's good to see folks finishing races and getting the maximum enjoyment from the hobby, from the sport. So good stuff, good facts, and yes, we'll have to see how our drivers do, and with the one more occasion that they'll have available to them, round 30 of 30. It's quite something to think that we've obviously had 30 races, taking in a range of some of the best motor racing circuits in the world. Of course, we're incredibly blessed to have so many of those in the United Kingdom that we can visit them with our touring car series. I'd say, oh gosh, again, thinking back through all the races we've had, it's tough to, I think, pick a favourite race. I think the wet affected race in Silverstone last time out, that just evened things up. Again, Thomas O'Leary doing some of the overtakes he did around the outside of Luffield, for instance, and Brooklands was pretty magic. So that's probably a standout moment. But we've had so much good racing this year, so it's very much a shame, I think, to reflect on it and go, well, we've got one more round to go. But I guess, as they say, be happy that it's happened, don't be sad that it's finishing. So plenty of I think good racing in the books, and plenty still to come. Just seeing, unfortunately, we've got a technical issue, so we are just going to be a little bit delayed, so we'll have to just bear with us as we get that sorted out. Just have a quick look to see if I could figure out exactly what's going on here. Looks like, yeah, just waiting for, I think, some drivers to come back. Hopefully not to put you on the spot, Tom, but Tom, you've been the mastermind behind the cameras and the wonderful broadcasts. I wonder if you've got any thoughts, comments you'd like to share as we start to build in towards our final race of the year. Fair enough. So yes. Okay. So no, fair enough. Didn't realise that. So you can't hear Tom, but no, it's been a real pleasure and privilege to obviously broadcast for everyone this year. I know Phil would be saying the same if he were here. And again, huge thank you to Tom and all the folks behind the scenes who kind of help make this happen. It's definitely, I think, a passion project. Everyone loves and is doing this because they love motorsport and virtual racing. So it's lovely to have, like I say, the community that we've got here at VMO putting on these fantastic little, fantastic championships that we can all come along and watch and enjoy and participate in. And it should be said, and Tom and I were saying actually before the broadcast went live, watching the qualifying, it's quite something to see a whole field as close as we've had this year in TCUK. You know, when you've got the whole grid separated by just a few tenths of a second, watching, for example, drivers trading second, third places by mere hundredths of a second is truly special. We've got a variety of cars here. We've got different drivetrains. We've got front wheel drive, rear wheel drive. We've got different wheelbases. We've got different strengths and weaknesses across all of the cars, and they're all super close. So it is a real treat to see that, and we have been very, very lucky with the field of drivers we've had. So thank you all for all that you've done out there on the track, all of the laps, all of the practice, all of the setup work, all of the things that you don't see in the build up to the races. It has been a pleasure to commentate on you all. So with that, I think we are just about ready to go. Our drivers are on formation for this, the 30th and final race of our TCUK championship this year. And we'll run through your starting grid. So reverse grid prole starting from the front will be Cedo Wire for Brabham Motorsport. He will be followed by Daniel Kell in second place. Callum Wilson for Richardson Co Racing starting on the soft tyre will be starting in third place. Keep an eye out for him, followed by Emil Salberg. Daniel Herlock for RSR will be starting in fifth place, followed by Tom Stevens. Luke Mitchell and Thomas O'Leary will start in P7, P8, followed by Scott Mitchell-Marm and Joseph Herlock in P9 and P10. Ryan Elliott and Callum Cripps will start in P11 and P12, followed by Zach Evans and Chris Butcher. Alan Smith will start in P15, followed by Jordan Osborne. Ben Willis will start in 17th, followed by Mitch Murray in 18th. Fraser Hart will start 19th, followed by Jack London in 20th. Ashley Gregory for Brabham Motorsports will start in 21st, followed by Jordan Richardson, our Race 1 winner. Robin Mellon for Spinardi will start 23rd, followed by Louis Neal in 24th. And our last starter for this, the final race of the evening, will be Cameron Moss starting in 25th. So we've lost a few drivers, unfortunately, but we've still got 25 drivers for this, the final race of the season, which is a fantastic thing to see. We've got a very full grid of cars here, all looking forward to another 15 laps of TCUK action. So as our drivers round the final bend for the formation lap for the final time this year, huge shout out again to all of the drivers, all the folks behind the scenes for putting all of the hard work, all of the effort and all of the cars together here, the livery makers, everyone, thank you so much for all you do. Our drivers are just rounding the final bend now, coming into position, and we will just wait for everyone to get themselves lined up. We'll wait for the revs to rise and the lights to come on, and we'll get going for race and round the final race of this year. Lights come on, and we are away and racing. A little bit of a sluggish start there from Cedo Wire. Looks like Dan Kell from second place immediately takes advantage with Callum Wilson in third, right up the rear end of that Honda Civic. Kell looks like he's got around the outside of Wire. Can he cement that position on the brakes into Druids? We'll have to see on the exit. It looks like he has not. Wire hangs on and retains his lead as they run into Graham Hill Bend. We've got a little bit of a scrap and a little bit of sideways action. Good recovery there from the BMW in the background, as I believe that's Herlock making his way up to third place. And blimey, we've got a little bit of contact, a little bit of collision there around the back of the field, and it sounds like we've got, goodness gracious me, we've got O'Leary off in the background. We've got an RSR, and I can hear the contact in the background of shot. Oh dear, that was a bit scrappy, a bit messy. Coming out of Surtees for this, the final time. Race 3 normally has the dramas, and they have started early. Dan Kell has taken the lead. He's got by Cedo Wire, and looks like Herlock's followed through. Let's have a look at the replay here. So a little bit of contact, looks like a little bit of bumping, a little bit of rubbing, and I think the car gets a little bit spun around there. The RSR nowhere to go, just gets caught up in the middle of it. And I think it's a little bit of a momentum moment. Everyone just kind of bumping into each other, the advertising hoardings being sent flying. So drama there for O'Leary. Like I say, we believe he's got this one wrapped up, but it is not a done deal yet until the officials say it is. So a lot to do there for him. Hopefully he can recover, and who knows, there's still plenty of time to score some points. Herlock now to the front of the race with the fastest lap of the race. He's got his plans for this final race well and truly cemented, but look at that, he's gone deep into Druids, and Wire comes straight back past him. So does Kell. So that's a little bit curious. I wonder if that was a little bit of self-penalization. Perhaps there was a moment, who knows. But here we go. We're just following on board with Salberg here on the outside. Looks like we've got some contact here with the loadout car, and oh my goodness me, it's a huge concertina effect. Oh my goodness me. Well, I guess we don't need the cars again for a little while, so never raced or rallied and all that kind of stuff. Again, the virtual mechanics and body parts shops will love that. Just hearing from cameraman extraordinaire on the microphone, apparently only the top 7 avoided that huge moment. So I think we've now got a race of 2 halves. It would be fair to say. I see quite a few cars in the pit lane. We've got 3 DNFs, got Joe Herlock, Scott Mitchell-Malm and Louis Neal all out of the race. Several cars, I think I'm counting 4 or so, a long way behind as well. And we've now got Chris Butcher 5 seconds adrift in 8th place from 7th. So we've got the front 7 pretty much all together, almost side by side. Look at this. And then we've got the rest. So let's keep calling the action here as we can see it. We've got Dan Kell, who's come to the front. Dan Herlock is back up into 2nd and challenging for that 1st place. Cedo Wire is not going to give up. He is holding strong up the inside of Druids, now the outside for Graham Hill Bend, but Dan Herlock has the advantage. The road turns away as it does through Graham Hill Bend, and like that, Cedo Wire going backwards, losing another place there to Tom Stevens. Looks like Luke Mitchell now has designs on that 4th place. As I mentioned earlier, momentum such a huge factor here in racing around Brands Hatch. If you lose it, you go backwards very quickly. Now got 2 Brabhams here challenging the back of Luke Mitchell. Got Cedo Wire, and now I think Callum Wilson getting involved as well in his BMW. Callum Cripps up to 4th place now. These folks, well and truly not hanging around. They want to have a good race, good run into the end of the year. And we've got a bit of a replay now coming up. Got Jordan Osborne here racing one of the Spinardis, and my goodness, he's missing his rear wing. Oh my. Okay, well, folks may have given up on the touring car racing and want to do a little bit of drifting, but oh my, yes, that's that's one Cupra that definitely is going to need some TLC. But how on earth, I don't know, you'd lose your rear wing like that. I guess perhaps gone backwards into a wall earlier, but as we can see, not perhaps the huge aerodynamic monsters, say a prototype or a Formula car, but our touring cars definitely do use and rely on that downforce to keep themselves stable. As we saw, that Cupra definitely missing its rear wing and its aerodynamic aid. Replay over, looking at action live here. We've got Herlock and Kell here racing for the racing for 1st and 2nd. Maybe some interesting ramifications in the championship with if things were to finish as they were, with O'Leary currently scoring no points, I believe, and Herlock winning, because we believe the current championship being done on countback. O'Leary by 1 point, I'm hearing. Again, we're working this out live, so bear with us. But Herlock can do no more than he's currently doing. Perhaps if he can get the fastest lap point, that would be the last thing that he could try and gather up. But Kell in 2nd, Herlock in 1st. He's got those soft tyres. He's going to use them to good effect, as we have seen in multiple races so far this evening. That soft tyre super strong at the start of the race, and it may fade off. We'll have to see how he manages that one. Kell now 1 second behind Herlock with the medium tyre. Stevens bearing down on Kell now. That will be the next scrap in and around the podium positions. Chris Butcher here running in 9th place on the boost. He is catching up to the back of Fraser Hart. Currently, Hart had the fastest lap of the race. That has now indeed been taken by Dan Herlock. And I believe, yes, just we believe they are now tied on points. Oh boy, we're definitely going to have to wait for some adjudication, I think, on a few bits and pieces. So the championship, let's put the championship to one side just for a second. Call the race. It's going to go down to the wire, I think it's fair to say. Callum Cripps here, 5th place. Well and truly under threat now from Luke Mitchell and his loadout Ford Focus. All over the back of that Brabham Honda, filling the mirrors, trying to make a mistake from Callum, but you're going to have to do something pretty special to make that happen. Meanwhile, we've got Mitchell. He's under attack from Cedo Wire, our pole position man from the reverse grid. So we've got 2 Brabhams potentially working together, trying to thwart this loadout racing Ford Focus. But it definitely looks like Luke is enjoying the pace advantage that he has at the moment, giving Callum Cripps plenty to think about. Callum running a little bit wide there on the exit of Sheen Curve there, which will of course compromise him into Stirling's. And here we go. It looks like Luke's still trying to work out how he can get by into the braking zone, into Clark Curve. Nothing doing that time around. Luke not finding a way through at the moment. So no boost usage from these two, both keeping that powder dry for now on the brakes down into Paddock Hill Bend. Cars dancing around, particularly these front wheel drive cars, all the weight, all the traction, all the power, all the turning, of course, on the front axle. The rear very much there just to keep things level. These drivers using all of their skills and their cars to their fullest. They're making them dance through Paddock Hill Bend, through Druids, and now out of Graham Hill Bend. Luke now going to the outside using the racing line. Callum covering the inside. That's going to be a little bit compromised on the exit. But Honda Civic looking strong in a straight line. Callum Wilson here. So this is 4th and 3rd place. Dan Kell now in 3rd place. Looks like Tom Stevens having a really good evening. Now up to 2nd place. Kell down to 3rd. And now we've got Wilson looking to make his way forward into the final podium position. Kell got that medium tyre on. Wilson with the soft. So again, we've got a tyre difference here. That BMW all over the curb there, almost pitched sideways running into Sheen Curve that time around. Very nice, very composed on the exit of Stirling's. But that front wheel drive just pulling away ever so slightly on the straight there into Clark Curve. So pretty even as they run over the start finish line to complete lap 6, start lap 7. Kell still ahead of Wilson as they run into Paddock Hill Bend. Again, BMW beautifully just gracefully taking the curb there, and a late move on the brakes. That was bold. I think he realized that wasn't going to quite work and backed out of it just in time. No contact thankfully between these two, but that's definitely a signal of intent. And look at that, Kell not quite getting the run off of Graham Hill Bend this time around. Wilson up the inside. Can he cover that one off? It looks like he has. Carry the momentum around the outside. Kell valiantly fighting on the exit there, but not quite got the exit that he was hoping for. Wilson beautifully engineered up into 3rd place. Kell down to 4th this time around. Now, the next target, I think, which will be homing onto the back of Dan Kell, will be Callum Cripps. He's been able to build himself a little bit of a gap now between himself and Luke Mitchell. Of course, those two fighting and scrapping just a few moments ago. Let's see what Cripps can do now that he just can focus forward and not have to worry about what's going on in his rear view mirror. Cedo Wire actually still maintaining a very close pursuit and proximity to Luke Mitchell. So there may be some action here. And we've got Fraser Hart who's catching up. He's gained 11 places through all of the melee which happened on, of course, earlier on in the race. He's not too far behind this group as well. So if they start fighting, start scrapping, there's going to be a real, coming together here, hopefully not literally, of all of these drivers fighting for the likes of 6th, 7th and 8th place. So up the hill they run, out of Paddock Hill Bend, up into Druids. Cedo definitely carrying a lot more speed on the brakes into Druids that time around, clearly feeling confident that his car is going to stop and turn. Out of Druids and through Graham Hill they go. looks like Luke Mitchell carrying a bit more momentum, so perhaps slightly different approach, slightly different lines. Luke Mitchell just maintaining, again, about a car length and a half's advantage over Wire as they run through Surtees this time around. Looks like Wire on the boost, using that boost, and he has got himself alongside. Can he power his way past? Yes, he can. Beautiful use of the boost system there, all the way through the Pilgrim's Drop section into Hawthorne's Bend. Another place gain for Wire. We'll have to see what Mitchell can do to respond. Mitchell just with the 2 laps of boost, finishing really well, obviously, in the last race. Wire with a full complement of 8. While that was going on, Callum Wilson has been focusing forward, having got past Kell. He has now taken the fastest lap point away from Dan Hurlock, so that may now set things back in Thomas O'Leary's favour. He would win by 1 point, we believe, doing the maths live, so bear with us on that one. So everything's still incredibly finely balanced as we complete lap 8, move on to lap 9. Just 6 more laps now of our season to go. Callum Wilson sliding that car, really feeling up one with it through Paddock Hill Bend. Nicely through Druids, nice and clean, homing onto the back of Tom Stevens. Stevens not used any of his boost yet. He has 3 laps remaining. Meanwhile, Wilson only has 2. So we've got a little bit of boost games, boost strategy to work out. Stevens keeping his powder dry for the time being. Dan Hurlock, he still remains our race leader, about 1.3 seconds the gap. And he's still making and doing everything he can to not only finish strongly in this race, but in the championship. Just going back to our scrap for P6, 7 and 8, Fraser Hart has now indeed caught the back of Luke Mitchell. So Fraser, again, he's got a lot more boost to work with, as we were just talking about boost a moment ago. And he's now onto the back of Luke Mitchell. Mitchell with just the 2 laps, not used any yet, but it would appear at this stage of the race, Luke's just not quite as comfortable perhaps with his forward focus as he was a moment ago, and looks like the others are a bit more happy to extract a bit more pace from their cars. So Fraser catching the back of him at a rate of knots. A few cars just moving around there in the background. Cripps is in 4th, Kell now into 5th. Callum Wilson now catching onto the back of Tom Stevens. The gap 0.3 of a second, and there goes Fraser Hart round the outside of Luke Mitchell. Another pass done there. I didn't quite catch if that was done on boost or not, but Fraser making yet more positions. Just hearing it was indeed done on boost. So looks like Luke perhaps just keeping an eye on perhaps his boost, perhaps his tyres, keeping things a little bit measured for the race duration. We'll have to see if drivers fall back towards him as the race runs on. Next driver behind him now will be his teammate Chris Butcher, who is using boost and is also on the soft tyres. So Fraser makes his way forwards. Luke now into 8th place and will be racing his teammate before too long. Just keeping an eye on other scraps and fights. Wilson still behind Stevens up at the sharp end of the field. Stevens still not used any of his boost, but as you can see, they are right nose to tail now. Little bit of a look there up through Dingle Dell. That's certainly going to be a bold attempt if one is to be made there. But Wilson thinks better of it through Sheens into Sterling's. Use the camber on the exit there to carry as much speed as he can. Stevens just about maintaining that gap. I think actually ever so slightly extending the gap as they then run into Clark Curve for the 10th time of asking. Very evenly matched between these two drivers. Interesting to see slightly different lines. Their cars perhaps set up ever so slightly differently to emphasize, maximize particular areas of the circuit. Looks like a pass here for the Powered by Loadout Racing Ford Focuses. Chris Butcher now overtaking Luke Mitchell. Mitchell again just looking to be fading ever so slightly at this phase of the race. But Chris Butcher will obviously be pleased to gain another position. And he's got 2 cars not that far up the road. So perhaps a little bit of tactics being played by the Powered by Loadout Racing team. If Chris feels he has a bit of extra pace, maybe he can get a few more positions. A little bit of a replay here, just following along with Elliott. Ryan Elliott looks like he's coming up to pass. And, looks like he's just parking the car. Oh, dear. Not quite sure what's happened there, but again, in the Teams Championship, that may have a bearing. We'll have to see. But a retirement there for Ryan Elliott and the RSR team. Not ideal. Just focusing now back on the live pictures and action. Yes, Butcher has actually a whole queue of cars. I think we've got the likes of Dan Kell, Callum Cripps, Cedar Wire and Fraser Hart all within striking distance, just a few seconds up the road. So potentially fourth place on offer for the loadout team. Perhaps, like I say, a bit of formation flying. We will see. Lap 11 of 15, we've got Callum Wilson still on the back of Tom Stevens, still looking for a way past the Brabham X Ferretti BMW. I think just taking his time, trying to work out where his car's stronger, where it's weaker, where to overtake, where to engineer that overtake. Sometimes you do have to be patient and wait for the opportunity to manifest. A little bit of a look there, just fill the mirrors of the car ahead, make them think twice. As Matt Neal always used to say, you go where you look. If you make your opponent start looking behind them, they're not focusing on where they're going. Just helps you potentially get that overtake done. Looks like a good bit of defense there, just enough room being left by Stevens to Wilson, but you can see how much slower they are this time around. That 1.7 second gap has opened by half a second just on this lap alone between Stevens and Herlock, the next car ahead of them. So as these two scrap, Herlock will be quite happily driving off into the distance. But fair, hard, respectful racing from these two so far. Onto the brakes they go, into Sterling's, use the camber. I think Wilson definitely a little bit closer here, and I believe it looks like the timing tower is saying that Wilson is ahead. I'm not sure if I agree with that, looking at the pictures I'm seeing on screen. But yes, I'm going to say that Stevens is definitely ahead of Wilson at this stage, and definitely closing in very, very quickly on the Brabham X Ferretti driver. So they round their way through Graham Hill Bend. Let's just now focus, review what's going on here for P5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. Fraser Hart now catching the back of Cedar Wire, all on the boost here as they exit the final corner. As they run now down towards Paddock Hill Bend. Brabham Hill, blimey. Paddock Hill Bend for the 13th time of asking. Fraser carrying a good line, good amount of speed. I think Cedo's definitely having to manage his car at this point. Callum Wilson now ahead, it looks like. Can't see the other BMW. It is indeed now behind. So I'm not sure what happened there, but Tom Stevens now behind by a good few lengths on Callum Wilson. So Callum's gained another place. Here comes Fraser. He's up the inside. Has he got himself there? Ooh, nearly, but he's compromised Cedo on the exit. Will Cedo be able to maintain his momentum on the exit there of Surtees down? Pilgrim's drop towards Hawthorns. Yes, he does. That Honda Civic very strong in a straight line, and he's been able to make the most of that slightly squarer, wider exit. He's been able to get past Fraser Hart to regain. So here we go. Callum Wilson now in second place. Let's see how he did that. Running along the Pilgrim's Drop section of the circuit, and looks like he was able to perhaps use a little bit of boost there, power his way through on Tom Stevens there. So position gained on track, using a bit of boost, I believe. Up to second place he goes, and still has the fastest lap of the race. So back we are to P6, P7, P8. As we can see, Chris Butcher well and truly has bought into this scrap now. So I think, as I may speculate, the team tactics may be about to pay off here for the loadout, powered by Loadout Racing team. Fraser well and truly all over the back of Cedo here. Pretty even as they exit Paddock Hill Bend up towards Druids. No opportunity really there. So down they run into Graham Hill Bend. So Fraser, I think, still just looking much like Callum was to work out where he can get past the car ahead without having any form of contact or any form of drama. More fighting, more scrapping. Here we are focusing on P10, 11 and 12. We've got Alan Smith in 10th, Salberg in 11th, and Richardson in 12th. So these three all fighting. They're a little bit of a distance back. They're about 13 seconds away from Luke Mitchell et al. Up the road. But these three all fighting for points, which is fantastic to see. Currently headed by Smith on the boost. Down he goes through the drop under the bridge towards Hawthorns Bend. Just a few more laps now to go. And Richardson just following through there through Hawthorns, dropping a little bit of distance there this time by, perhaps saving some of the boost as they run. So just focusing a little bit more forward, about 10 seconds up the road, we've got Fraser Hart still trying to work out how he can get past this pair of Brabham Honda Civic Type Rs. You've got Cedo Wire as well as his teammate Callum Cripps just ahead. Boost and literal formation flying as they go over the start-finish line. Wire goes past Cripps. Now, that's an interesting one. Are they going to slow each other down? Will this give an opportunity to the two cars behind? We'll see. Good to see teammates racing hard, though, racing fair. And look at that. Wowee. Chris Butcher around the outside of Druids. Fraser Hart. Oh, my goodness me. Just a little bit unlucky. Checking up, obviously, for the cars ahead. Chris Butcher, beautiful stuff. Around the outside, he goes to Druids. Not one you see every day, but lovely stuff. Clean as a whistle. So lovely from Chris there. Callum, I think, potentially just helping his teammate. Maybe, we'll see. I'm surprised to see the teammates swap around quite like that, but there we go. It might not matter. We'll see. Looks like now we've got Chris having to defend pretty hard, pretty virulently from Fraser Hart. Chris, of course, on the softer tyre. That's perhaps the difference. Why he's got the speed. He's managed that tyre. Everyone else here on the medium, so perhaps not quite as much pace. We'll see. So we'll have to come back to that fight as we now focus on our leaders. It's the final lap of the race, folks. It's gone quickly, but Dan Hurlock has been the quickest. He leads us here as they run towards Clark Cove for the final time. Dan Hurlock makes his way cleanly through the right-hander for the final time this evening, for the final time this year. Daniel Hurlock wins race 3 this evening, followed by Callum Wilson and Tom Stevens. Our podium finishers are home for the final time this year. We now focus on the other finishers. We got Jordan Richardson in 10th, running a bit wide there. But Thomas O'Leary, he's coming home in 17th place. Goodness me. And we think, based on the calculations at the moment in the booth, that he has won the driver's title by 1 point, if you can believe it. We'll have to obviously wait for the official results, but it did go right down to the wire. Wow. So it looks like everyone's coming across the start-finish line. Looks like Chris Butcher did get Fraser Hart in the end there, so up to 7th place for the Powered by Loadout driver. Alan Smith looks like has come home in 11th place, ahead of Salberg and ahead of Ben Willis in the end. So interesting. Of course, the other drag driver was Richardson. And here we've got Cameron Moss, first evening with us. Lovely to have you, Cameron. And points. Good stuff. So well done for the Vexo development. Cupra, and I think he's quite happy with that result. He's getting some airtime for his sponsors. So, wowee. We're still running the numbers up here in the booth. I'll be honest, folks. It has been quite something to keep an eye on the race as that one panned out. A little bit of everything. Let's run through what we can say, though, which is the finishing order. Daniel Hurlock for RSR came home with the final win of the season in 1st place, followed by Callum Wilson for Richardson Co Racing. Final podium position again occupied by Tom Stevens for Brabham X Furisetti. Daniel Kell for Calamity came home in 4th place, followed by Cedo Wire, our pole sitter. Callum Cripps came home in 6th, followed by Chris Butcher, who pipped Fraser Hart there to 8th place. Luke Mitchell came home in P9, followed by Jordan Richardson for Drake in 10th place. Alan Smith, normally in 16th, not today. Congratulations, Alan. Came home in 11th place, followed by Mil Sarberg for Kings in 12th. Ben Willis for Drake in 13th, with Robin Moling for Spinardi. Great stuff. Lovely to see you getting some points, Robin. In 14th place, followed by Cameron Moss. Again, great to see you getting points on debut in 15th. Jack London and Thomas O'Leary came home in P16, P17. We've got Ashley Gregory in 18th, followed by Ryan Elliott in 19th, and Mitch Marie in 20th. Here we are into our folks who did not finish the final race of the year. Then to round out our final 5 finishers, we have Jordan Osborne, Zach Evans, Joseph Hurlock, Scott Mitchell-Marm, and Louis Neal, all not finishing in our final race of the year. So, as we understand it at the moment, and please do take this with a pinch of salt, we're working this out live, and of course, it's all subject to proper stewarding and official results, of course, but we believe that Thomas O'Leary has won the championship by 1 point, by 2 points. 2 points we're now hearing from Daniel Hurlock. So after 30 races, after all that, it's come down to 2 points. I think that may be the closest championship we've ever had here in TCUK. And he's got the fastest lap of the race, I believe, in the last lap we're just seeing. So we believe O'Leary has taken the Drivers' Championship by the slenderest of margins. Independence, we think Louis Neal wrapped that one up in the first race of this evening. And we believe from a team's point of view, Richards & Co Racing has brought that championship home from RSR in second place. Last but not least, Jordan Richardson wins the Purple Sector Award with the best consistent finishes in qualifying. So, got a few drivers on the grid there. I think that was O'Leary. I think that was Herlock. Good to see a bit of camaraderie and sportsmanship there. A little bit of celebrations on the line. My goodness me, I wonder the emotions they may be feeling. Hopefully, we'll get them to join us in broadcast for a little bit of an interview. And well, maybe we'll roll into some interviews right now. I can see we've got some folks starting to queue and join in. So after 30 races of pretty hectic action, it's kind of a little bit surreal to think that it's all over. But there we go. It has been a real roller coaster. It genuinely has been, as I mentioned before the race, a real pleasure to commentate and call. And I'm very interested to get the kind of feelings and reactions of some of the folks, obviously, who have been the stars of the show. So just having a look to the broadcast rating room. Yep, I think we've got our believed championship winner, Thomas O'Leary. So hopefully we'll be able to bring him in. Thomas, congratulations, sir. We believe that you have got the Drivers' Championship by a couple of points. What a season. How are you feeling?
It's been an incredible season. And yeah, the championship battle with Dan has been fierce all the way through. We've taken points from each other all the way through. And the RSR guys have really got that Astra working well. But I'm really pleased with the Richard & Co BMW has been quick all year. So really happy to walk away with the result that we worked hard for.
I'd say it has been, and I've said it a few times in the broadcast tonight, it has been a real pleasure to commentate on the quality of racing that both yourselves, the RSR team, have put in. And you've got some incredible stats. I referred to you as Mr. Race 2. I think you've won the most Race 2s ever in a championship. That consistency, you've got to be thrilled by how you've driven, how you've put the package together, and now obviously the championship to go with it.
Well, I think it's just making use of the new rule set with the boost coming in this year and how that changes qualifying and the whole race weekend. It's been critical for me to get the most out of race 2 if I'm starting further back in race 1. But yeah, really pleased all around, to be honest.
So you should be. Huge congratulations. It has been, like I say, a huge pleasure to watch you race, and hopefully we'll see you in a future TCUK championship.
Yep, well, we'll see. Just want to say quick thanks to you guys because the broadcast has been amazing all year. It's really great to have that and something to watch back later on, and all the people watching at home. So thank you to you guys for putting in all the hours for us, and yeah, we'll hopefully be seeing you soon.
Absolutely. Huge congratulations, Thomas. Go and enjoy the moment, and looking forward to seeing you on the grid next time.
Thank you very much.
All right, lovely stuff. I believe we've also got Matt Richards, of course, team boss for Richards & Co Racing. We'll hopefully be able to bring him in and get beg your pardon. There we go. So we've now got joining us Matt Richards, of course, team owner, team principal for Richards & Co Racing. Matt, how are you feeling? Another drivers championship and teams championship as well. You must be thrilled.
Ecstatic. Yeah, considering a couple of the things that we went through this morning and the hours before the race as a team, there was some question marks of whether it was going to be able to come together, but yeah, absolutely ecstatic with what the guys have been able to do all season. They've really fought their hearts out to get the results with the new rule changes with the HEM system. So yeah, really massively proud of them for what the effort that they've put in and what they've been able to do.
Absolutely, and I believe this means it's 3 years in a row that you've won the teams championship. Clearly, you're doing something right. Again, that's I think a record for VMO and TCUK. How do you do it? I mean, that is a run of consistency, which that's a gold standard to set. You've mentioned obviously the drivers working hard. You've obviously clearly been working hard as well, Matt. You got to be pleased, and as you say, new rule changes to navigate this year as well.
Oh, massively pleased. I mean, we've run the BMW for a couple of seasons, so we're pretty well versed in what it needs. But the main thing is just supporting the guys and making sure that like they've got all of the support around them that they need. I've driven touring cars for Lord knows how many years now, so whatever I can give them to help them put the performances in that they've been able to do, and as well as just them putting the work in to do what they do. I can't take any credit for it at all. The guys are amazing. They've just outshone themselves this year.
So very, very nice sentiment, very nice words. And well, I will say, Matt, many folks might not know this, but you obviously paint a good number of the cars as a livery designer. Some beautiful work. So thank you for that, because it is a treat to watch and spectate on. So thank you for all you do as well. So thank you very much, Matt. Congratulations again. As I said to Thomas just a second ago, go away, enjoy, savor the moment, and hopefully look forward to seeing you on the grid next year.
Oh, we will do. Maybe we'll see a blue and yellow one turn up next season. We'll see about that.
That'd be good.
Cheers.
Lovely. All right, and just having a look, I think perhaps the last one we'll do is I see that we've got Daniel Herlock in the broadcast waiting room as well, our second of our two protagonists, so maybe we can see if he's interested in a quick chat. All right. So actually, just before we do that, Louis Neal, we did call it out. We think that one's a pretty good cert, but yes, we should call out Louis Neal, our independent championship winner for this year. We think he sealed that one in the first race of the evening. Huge congratulations to Louis as well. Again, hope you're able to enjoy and savor the moment. It's a big deal to win a championship, and you've now won one and joined some illustrious names like the likes of Matt Richards and Cedar Wire. So congratulations, Louis. Hopefully we will see you next year on the grid as well. All right, so let's perhaps wrap this one up with a little bit of an interview with our, I believe, second place finisher in the Drivers' Championship, Dan Herlock. So Dan, hello, thank you so much for some fantastic racing that you've put on throughout the season. Commiserations, we think you've finished second by a slender margin. 1 point we think it is. You cannot get much closer than that, but please do hold your head up high, and certainly as a racing fan, thank you for all you and the RSR team have put on. It's been a real treat to watch.
Yeah, thanks. I'm quite happy actually. I've had a lot of fun this season. The Hems tool's thrown in an interesting dynamic with the way the races are going. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I've had a lot of good battles, and obviously Tom's done an amazing job. He's broken the amount of wins, most wins in a season. You know, it's incredible, really.
It really is, and I'll say I'm quite happily, I'll profess that I'm more of a rear-wheel drive driver. I watch the way that you pitch and drive your Astra and how you move it around. My brain does not compute how quick your hands have to be to keep up with that thing. You've clearly got that car working very well.
Yeah, it's a bit edgy, but I mean, I think last year they said you saw my door more than the rear of my car because I was that sideways, so this year's a bit less sideways, but still a bit of fun.
Absolutely right. And well, hopefully we'll see you on the grid next season.
Yeah, it should be.
Beautiful stuff. So Dan, again, thank you so much for the spirited campaign, the great racing. Again, commiserations, but looking forward to seeing you on the grid next year.
Yeah, cheers guys.
Thank you. All right, well, with that, I think we'll kind of bring to a close another TCUK championship here at VMO. 30 rounds, 30 races, 10 circuits, a bit of weather. We've seen it all. Some amazing overtakes, some drama-filled moments, the odd car park, as we even saw tonight. But on behalf of myself, Tom, Phil, just a huge thank you to all of the drivers, the teams, the race organization, the stewards, everyone behind the scenes who helps this championship and this league come together and happen. It's a wonderful community to be a part of. Search again VMO online, come along, join the Discord. It's a fantastic community, and it's one that I'm very pleased and proud to be a part of. A huge thank you to Tom and all those at AKE Sports for all of the wonderful broadcast work. And it has genuinely been a lot of fun and a real pleasure to commentate this year. And I'm sure that Phil would be saying the same if he was sat beside me. So with that, thank you so much to all of you for joining in, for watching, for your interactions in chat. And we hopefully will see you in the very near future in the next VMO TCUK or VMO series coming soon. So thank you very much on behalf of me and everyone else. See you next time out on the racetrack.